It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. It's hard to throw, catch, block, and tackle, and hit kids when they're way bigger and way more developed than you, only to go home that night bruised and battered and strained, but knowing you have to show up again the next day for just the chance to try again. But understand this, life is hard.
You're going to lose sleep. You'll doubt whether it'll work. You'll stress to make ends meet. You won't finish your to-do list. You'll wonder whether you made the right call and have no way to know for years. This is what hard feels like, and that's okay. Everything worth doing is hard, and the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. More for you.
In the early days, hard was, ooh, stop, this isn't good. The more I think about it as a competitive landscape, as I'm clear on what this path is supposed to look like, I get happier about the harder it is because I know that no one else will follow.
The man who never fail has no glory. The man who fell and got back up, that's where his glory is. The man who fell 20 times and got up 21 times, that man has even greater glory.
Wow.
That man has more courage, way more courage than the guy who was so strong from birth that he never fell. There's no glory in that.
Ever tried, ever failed, no matter. Try again, fail again, fail better.
One big thing is a lot of people, it's hard to imagine, but you have to learn how to fail. Because I had big dreams. A lot of us have big dreams, big goals. And when you have goals that are maybe outside your reach, you have to know that getting to that goal, you're gonna have a lot of bad days.
You should be a monster, an absolute monster, and then you should learn how to control it.
You should be a monster. He said you should be a monster, you should be ruthlessly ambitious, and then learn how to control it. And it's that old expression, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Marcus Aurelius says your only focus should be on getting better at what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing, get better at what you're doing. Everything else is a complete waste of time.
The greats do things when they don't always want to.
I gave everything that I had. I put my heart, my blood, my sweat, my tears to this game, and against all odds, I don't know why we want to take the hardest road. I don't know why the man above gives me the hardest road, but it's nothing the man above don't put you in situations that you can't handle. And I just kept that same positive attitude, like, instead of saying, why me? They're saying this is what he want me to do.
Practice and practice and practice. Practice makes what? Absolutely not. Dismantle that belief system. Practice makes improvement. You can always better your best. You can always go beyond anything that you have ever done. You'll never hit a state of perfection. You're always bigger than what you do.
Following your dreams is a lonely, solitary, scary, dangerous pursuit. You can't wait for somebody to think you can do it. Because they don't think you can do nothing they can't do. You got to be willing to risk everything to become that seed of what you believe is in there. You got to be fearless. You got to be relentless.
If you're serious about change, just know you're going to go through some uncomfortable situations. Stop trying to dodge the process, because in the long run, it's going to make you better. And don't forget that shit. Word?
You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. But do you have the guts to fail? To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. And when you fall throughout life, remember this. Fall forward.
Actually, look at this. Wow. The Florida man right there for you, Blake, jogging in the hurricane.
If you pan it down here, you see it's about 3 o'clock in the morning and there's not a car or a person in sight. If you pan over here, it's the same thing.
I know you're gonna have to do almost everything alone up here. You know what you gotta do. Do it. Do it.
Right now in life, your family is looking for that one guy right now. They're looking for that one guy who's strong, who's that pillar for the family in hard times. Make sure they look around and find you. These are the times right now for you to step up. Be that guy that can take anything.
I don't believe in talent. I'm here because I worked hard my whole life.
We're up here because of 4 a.m. We're up here because of 2-a-days or 5-a-days. We're up here because we had a dream and let nothing stand in our way.
It wasn't about the potential. It wasn't about the genetics. It was about the perseverance. And it wasn't about being the hardest worker in the room. That's what got them there. And it didn't happen overnight. They got knocked down more than they ever stood up. But they kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going, because what else is the alternative? To be average again. That sucks, man. And I'll never accept mediocre again. I'm always gonna give it my 110%. That's the only thing I can ever say a solid day's work.
Louis, a moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory. You remember that?
This dude's mom had told everybody at the beauty shop that her son was gonna beat Mike Tyson. She bragged.
But then his mom died, and he decided he was gonna Mike Tyson up for his mother.
Buster Douglas got knocked out. Nobody ever got knocked out by Mike Tyson and ever got back up. It was almost a 10 count. He was stumbling. They were 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding, ding, ding. Saved by the bell. He goes to his corner. The whole world is like, yep, that's it. Once he comes back out, that's it. Mike's gonna just hammer him. And exactly that. Mike Tyson came out like, I got him. I got this kid up against the rope. Listen to me, many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. I need you to do what Buster Douglas did. Buster Douglas started fighting back. And the world was shocked. Goliath has been knocked down. What happened? And they went to Buster Douglas and they asked Buster Douglas simply like, what happened? And Buster Douglas said, listen to me, it's real simple. Before my mother died, she told the whole world that I was gonna beat Mike Tyson. And 2 days before the fight, my mother died. Buster Douglas had a decision to make. When his mother died, he could die with his mother, or he made a decision, I can wake up and I can live for mom. And he knocked Mike Tyson out.
Look at this! He's knocked Mike Tyson down for the first time in his career! Mike Tyson hits the canvas! He's in big trouble!
After that fight when I lost, and I'm looking at all these people and they're all celebrating my demise and saying I'm done and this, and it certainly lit a fire under my belly. Every single person doubted me. Every single fighter doubted me. Doubt me now.
They all doubt me! Every one of you doubt me! Woo, doubt me now!
You know the truth. You know the darkness. You were there. You know this. There was no one there to go in that. It was you. You had nobody anyway, mother. So see how I'm talking myself right now? That's me. That fires me the up. So those things that come out of me, that extract from me in the darkness.
I wasn't invited to parties or friendly gatherings on the weekend. So on Fridays and Saturdays, I would go in my rec room with my basketball and basically dribble myself to sleep. During those lonely hours in the rec room, I discovered the hunger, the motivation, and the desire to be the best possible basketball player that I could be. And here I am today.
The one thing that made me who I am today is being vulnerable. It's breaking myself down to the absolute rock bottom and being able to tell people who I am. And that's how I fixed it. Literally, life created this person, me. Life created me to be this person that I was back in the day. And I had to realize, man, that's okay, man. It's not my fault. Now I gotta go back and fix this though. So a lot of this isn't your fault, why you do some things you do, why you feel the way you feel. But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where the started, wherever that place is for everybody, and have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you. And that's when I was like, hey, I'm up. I'm gonna go back and fix this though.
You gotta be honest with yourself
100%
about where you're at.
Everybody's asleep, man, or just getting home after a long night. Going out there partying. It's Friday night. It's close to 3 in the morning right now. The thing is, man, it's always gonna be a party. There's always gonna be a time to celebrate and a time to join friends or a day to, the bars are always open. Always open. No matter how old you are, they're always open, What's not always open is the opportunity to check the box in life, you know, to achieve your dreams. That's not always open, man.
How'd you become that guy?
You know what? I grew up not that guy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people put a title on me. They see me now as the guy that with his shirt off, who can do 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours, who can run 205 miles in 39 hours, who can do all this crazy shit. But what they don't understand is they don't understand the journey that it took me to get to this point. I had two options: to either be that 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, and at 24 years old, knowing when I'm 50 years old, I can reflect on this and think about what guy I never became, or I can totally just sack it up and fail and fail and fail until I succeed.
Anytime I was in the gym, I was happy. You know, whatever's going on in my life, good or bad, I go to the gym, I exercise, and that for me is, exercise is the best form of medication. I always felt happy after a workout or after training. So when I was stopped training, I was hanging around with the wrong people or whatever, you know.
Somehow get a different outcome that everyone else does.
If you fake bravery when you're terrified, that is bravery. And I kind of feel like motivation is the same thing. If you do the thing when you're feeling unmotivated, that is motivation.
That's it. Staying motivated, take some action. Because nothing changes if nothing changes, man.
What's something difficult you're going through that people don't often see?
I mean, my mind is a storm, and I don't think most people would want to be me. They may think they would want to be me, but they don't know. They don't understand.
How are you doing?
In the grand scheme of things, I can't complain.
Do you get lonely?
Sometimes, but my kids and friends keep me company.
So not existential.
There are many nights I sleep alone. I don't have to, but I do.
Without that work, no one in this room would know who I am except my family. So to all the kids around the world watching and aspiring to be like one of us or even on the stage someday, put the work in and watch the magical ride you go on.
The Lonely Chapter describes a time in which you're growing, you're changing as a person, and you're now so different that you can no longer resonate with your old set of friends, but you're not sufficiently developed that you've got the new set of friends that you're going to grow into. And this is the Lonely Chapter. And the problem with it is that you're always, the desire to sort of regress back to where you were is always going to be there. And all of my friends are taking the piss. Oh, not drinking again. Too good for us, are we? Not going out again this week. Oh, okay. Well, enjoy staying in home and reading. Nerd. So this Lonely Chapter is a period through which I think everybody needs to squeeze. Anybody that decides to go from a place they are to a place that they want to be.
I isolate myself. I don't look at messages on Instagram. I don't send messages on Instagram. I don't go out. You would not like my life. I live alone, and sometimes I'm like, hello. Make sure my voice still works. I take away all distractions.
I had to stop thinking normal.
But you know.
One day you're going to see it. That happiness was always about the discovery, the hope, the listening to your heart, and following it wherever it chose to go. Happiness was always about being kinder to yourself. It was always about embracing the person you were becoming. One day you will understand that happiness was always about learning how to live with yourself, that your happiness was never in the hands of others. One day you will realize that true happiness comes from within, and no external factors can define it. It was always about you. It was always about you.
Don't ever think or believe that you gotta smoke what they smoke, drink what they drink, wear what they wear, be a part of what.
Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot.
At night, and I don't know what it is about it, man, but man, it's just the air smells a little bit better right now. When you say you're gonna do something and then you follow through and you do it, not at the end when you cross the marathon, you finish it, or your hands raised. I'm talking about right now. The small steps in between the big successes that everyone sees. No one sees this. It's the moments in life, the decisions you make on a moment-to-moment basis that add up to be me, who I am, my guy. Repeat that over and over and over again.
Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry I can't be with you tonight. However, I couldn't completely miss the chance to take a moment to share some thoughts with all of you. It presented a moment to pause and reflect on what I've learned throughout my basketball career. The lesson I cherish the most is how important it is to love what you do. All the hard work and perseverance will pay off. when you know you're truly giving it your all, there's no greater feeling in the world. I once had a guidance counselor tell me that I shouldn't play basketball, that it would never amount to anything for me. And you know what? Much to your surprise, I took that counselor's advice. I took it, and please know I'm thinking of you.
There's times where you're going to have to do it alone. There's not going to be any team support. There's not going to be any family support. There's not going to be any friend support. There's going to be times where you've got to go and do it yourself, and you got to do it alone. And those are the times that make a difference. Those are the times that count. Those are the times where you have to dig deep yourself to get the job done. And if you can make that happen, you will win.
They're telling you you're up and this could be hard, but for some reason, you put so much practice into you that you can ignore every one of them that are telling you you're not gonna make it and still be able to make it because they know. But you still had the conviction that I know I can do this. And that's what it took for me to get here.
If you have a belief and you can't explain why you believe it, it's not yours, it's someone else's.
Your pride and your ego has been killing your career growth. Your could be on another level. You know better, but you're deciding to not do better. You are a lazy, unprofessional, mean attitude having, and yet when things are not happening good for you, when things are not coming your way, when things are not happening as fast as you want them to happen, you blame everybody else and what they're doing and saying, and you completely disown everything that you're doing to contribute to your career not going to another level. You know better, but you don't want to do better. This is uncomfortable, but I'm telling y'all the truth.
Take ownership. Take extreme ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing. Get control of your ego. Don't hide your delicate pride from the truth. Take ownership of your shortfalls, take ownership of your problems, and then take ownership of the solutions that will get those problems solved.
We don't want to be left alone by ourselves with ourselves. So we come in and we sit down and we get on our phone, or we turn on the TV, or we go wherever, we do whatever, because we don't want to face the reality of being by ourselves with ourselves. Start making yourself a companion that you're comfortable with. If you had a friend, if you had a person you're going to sit down and spend all the time with, what would you want from that person? What would you want? Well, I would want to spend time with somebody who's honest. Makes sense? I don't want to spend time with somebody who's going to be lying to me all the time. Someone who's going to gently tell me the truth about myself. One of the hardest things sometimes for the human to do is get to the point where they stop lying to themselves, where they tell themselves the truth. They speak the truth to themselves. Now, you got to face the reality of who you are. You got to face the reality of what you are. And nobody's going to tell you that like you yourself will tell you that.
If I can just walk one more mile after being in the worst shape of my entire life, this would change everything for me mentally going forward. From this kid who came from dirt, nothing, who couldn't read until he was a junior in high school and is now here. I walked a mile. I said, maybe I can walk one more mile. Maybe I can walk another mile. At mile 81, my ex-wife looked at me and said, you're not gonna make the time. When your mind knows it's not going to quit, and this is what I found out, this is my 40% rule. When your mind knows it's not going to quit, your body will adapt to whatever is in front of it. I ended up running 20 more miles. I did 101 miles in 19 hours and 6 minutes. And that one day changed, that 19 hours. It wasn't SEAL training, it wasn't Ranger School, it wasn't Delta Force, it wasn't any of that crap I went through. It was this 19 hours and 6 minutes that forever changed my life to know that we as human beings are capable of anything. And we don't need any special kind of parents or tools to get there. So I end you with this. Don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done. Thank you very much.
Sometimes you give your best, the next one.
And just because you did it once, there's no certainty to anything in life. It doesn't mean you're going to win it again, or a championship, or get a promotion. You actually have to work for it, and you have to earn it. There's nothing that's easy. There's nothing that's given. They don't hand you a championship belt. They don't hand you a championship ring. You got to earn it.
So you're always trying to come up with reasons that you don't have to do it today. But if you're building the muscle either way. You're either building the muscle that says, I do what I say, I keep the commitments that I make, or you're building the muscle that says, I make excuses, I don't do what I say, I can't be counted on, right? And so when we think about discipline, it's really about like, what promises are you gonna keep? And the tricky thing is you're keeping promises to yourself that nobody even knows that you made, right? It's not like, hey, you made this commitment. If I don't write this book by this time, like, I have to do this embarrassing thing, or, then I'll retire. You're not really putting your ass on the line in that sense, but you've said to yourself you're gonna do this thing, and building that muscle is really important.
What do successful people and unsuccessful people have in common? Here's what they have in common, okay? They both choose to go run out in the cold, dark morning. I do not like that. Successful people hate this stuff too, but they just do it anyway.
I'm gonna say something to you. You're smart, you're talented, you know a few things, but talent means nothing in this game if you don't make the right choices. There's plenty of talented people out there who never see the light of day anymore. Last thing, takes discipline. Because this whole game is one big long shot. And if you don't have the discipline to stay away from the flyers or from the gambles or whatever else you want to call a stupid move, then, my friend, I'm afraid to say one day you will go down. It's inevitable. You want my advice? Make a list of everything you want now, and then plan on spending the next 25 years of your life getting it, slowly, piece by piece.
Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it.
Talent? I don't believe in talent. Well, some people, they have talent. It's good. It helps when you have talent. As long as you have a lot of determination and willpower, that's all you need. And you have to have the will to win.
Effort, dedication, work hard, because the talent is not enough anymore.
Obsession's gonna be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed?
You just eliminate all external distractions, that's what's going on, and just focus on the process itself and enjoying it every single day. Chopping wood, carrying water. Greatness is not meant for a few chosen people. It's meant for those who persistently pursue their dreams every day and make that choice when they wake up.
Everyone wants to be Cristiano, but I give you the map. You think you will do it that? It's difficult. It's
the discipline.
The discipline is the most difficult thing, not only in the sport, but in the life. You have to challenge yourself to be consistent. I repeat, sometimes it's hard.
Everyone says discipline is so important, but they never want to tell you why. I'll tell you why. It's the strongest form of self-love. It's ignoring something you want right now for something better later on. Discipline reveals the commitment you have to your dreams, especially on the days that you don't want to. The future you is depending on the current you to keep the promises that you made to yourself yesterday.
If you want to be anything special and last for a long time, it comes with discipline, discipline, discipline. Really understanding the word of discipline and sticking to it. If you really understand that, you'll be fine. Set a goal, be disciplined to that goal.
I think everything about discipline, and every day, like, train, sleep, eat, repeat. It's have to become your lifestyle, and everything here in mental, everything about mental. It's like people ask me when you become champion, what you feel like, and I said, no, in my mind, I was always champion.
I always felt like I could do anything. That's the main thing people are controlled by. Thoughts, their perception of themselves. They're slowed down by their perception of themselves. If you're taught you can't do anything, you won't do anything. I was taught I could do everything.
The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Go for the discipline because it weighs ounces. The regret weighs tons because it can accumulate.
I'd say one of the strongest mental frames that has gotten me through my hardest times is thinking this will be the story that I will one day tell. And that means the harder it is, the bigger the dragon, the more epic the story, and by consequence, the more epic the hero.
5 or 6 years, I went every single day without missing a single day. I never got sick. I was in the water on Christmas, birthday, holidays, everything. It didn't matter. When you have a goal that's important enough to you, nothing will stand in your way. I swam for over 20 years, and I can guarantee you there was probably 100 days where I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to stay in the pool or stay in my bed and not get out. But those were the days where you have to. You have to get up and do something, because I think that's really what separates the good from the great. The greats do things when they don't always want to do them.
I'm obsessed with being the best version of myself, and that's a daily thing. I'm obsessed with finding myself now after and not having to prove anything to anybody.
So when you're obsessed with something, it doesn't require discipline, because you can't wait to do it again. Discipline, Mike Tyson said best.
It was a real calling for you.
Mike Tyson said best. He said, discipline is doing something you hate, but doing it like you love it.
Every morning when you get up, say over and over to yourself, do it now, do it now, do it now, I do it now, do it now. Whenever you have this tendency to procrastinate, program your subconscious mind with this automatic conditioned command, do it now, do it now, do it now.
The greatest version of you is not the I can do anything version of you. The greatest version of you is the disciplined version of you. The greatest version of you is the version that has parameters. No, I don't do that. I don't drink that. I don't go there with these people. I'm focused. I have a prize that's in front of me.